Good morning.
Good morning. It is morning as we do this. It is morning.
It is
How was
morning.
so we haven't spoken for a couple days, but how are things going?
You know, I always said I was going to be completely transparent on this show,
Yes.
and I was always going to bring my honesty. It's been a really rough week, man. It's been a rough week.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
I got to breathe.
It's all right.
I've been trying to hold it together,
Yeah. No, I got you. Take your time.
So anyways, my little girl was let me I got to pull it
It's all right.
together. What the hell's going on here? My little girl was physically assaulted and beaten on the subway this past
Your
week.
your oldest little girl. They're always going to be your little
Yeah.
girls, but your oldest.
Yes, she's my firstborn, right? She's my firstborn. She's my baby. And the thing is that she's fine. She's going to be fine. All the tests
Thank
came
goodness.
back great. She was released from the hospital. She's at home recovering. Everything is going to be great. And so for now, it's just like it's her having like trauma therapy, and that's the part we have to get through. But it's funny because when I haven't told this story to anybody, only to close family members, but when we do talk about it, everybody thinks mentally ill. They think like a homeless or displaced person or something like that. This was not. This was a man on his way to work in a dress shirt and pants with a briefcase that he also hit her with. Um, and I just want to say everybody needs to like reach out. Like if you're struggling and you feel like you're getting angry for like the littlest things,
Yeah.
and you can notice that in yourself. Um, it's not hard to admit. It's okay. We're all there. We're all like in this weird place after especially coming out of the pandemic, and like life is weird right now, and that's okay. And I want everybody to just like check in with themselves and say like, am I getting overly angry over silly things? My daughter was beaten for walking down the wrong side of the stairway in the subway.
Wow. Wow.
um I'm overly emotional because I don't talk about it. So I'm talking
Well,
about it now. And
this is the
huh?
platform. I'm glad. This is the platform. I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad you're speaking. Not only does the rest of the
You
audience
know,
and myself feel we can basically feel exactly what you're feeling, but at the same time it's terrible, especially when
it's
it's a
awful.
kid. It's awful.
It's awful. She's maybe 120 pounds. But DA Bragg, come on, guy. The reason this guy's not going to jail and the reason I'm not down there finding this motherfucker is because he doesn't prosecute. It's kind of the same thing that's going on here in LA with Gascon and all of that. These DAs are not prosecuting. So I guess my main message is get out there and vote, people, because it's coming up pretty quicker than we think it is. And you need to vote. You need to be heard. And this shit shouldn't fly.
Just
And
curious, did
that
anybody help her? Did anyone help her when she was getting assaulted?
um she got hit very quickly. Um, and yes, people did like sort of jump in, but I think it takes a minute for you to realize like what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Especially in New York, like the hustle and the bustle, and you're on especially in the stairway. And I think it took people a minute to realize like what was happening. But yeah, there's a pizza guy that owns a restaurant right at that stop. And I unfortunately I can't mention it because
Yeah.
I don't want to, place anybody. But he said, I'm gonna stand outside at this time every day and I'm gonna look for that guy. So they did, but the damage was done. And luckily she's okay. She's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
She's gonna be okay. There was just a lot of swelling, a lot of black and blue, a lot of. just in the trauma of it. But anyways, so
Well, you can't
get out
brace
there and
yourself.
vote. Get out there and
Yeah, I mean,
vote, people. Get people like Bragg out. Get him out. Um,
I'm,
on to
I'm with
better
you.
things.
No, it's a major. It's major. You were kind enough to share it with me, when it happened, and I was trying to give you as much space as whatever, the phone's open whenever you wanted to call, and I just knew you had a lot on your mind, and wasn't sure, if you were leaving town and everything else that was going on. But most importantly, she's healthy. It's so frustrating as a parent because you do whatever you can to protect your kids, and then to get
Yeah.
a call like that is brutal.
It's brutal. And then you know what's more brutal is that and I don't know if it's just me, but I keep playing it back in my mind. I keep like replaying her getting hit in the head and him slamming her head on this concrete wall. And I just keep playing it in my head and I just want to turn that button off. It's like,
Yeah.
can we turn that button off? Can that stop? Um so, but we are moving on from that. And that was last week. And today's a better week. And it's a great week because she's okay. And we're moving on. I don't know if you remember, but last week I talked about not using deodorant.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I did. Okay. So I don't know if everybody's like completely aware of like how toxic deodorant is. It's so bad for you, people. Every part of it is so bad for you. So my girls buy this stuff. It's by the Ordinary.
Okay.
It's their glycolic acid, okay? This is for your face or just for your skin in general. And I read somewhere like it might deter body odor. And I was like, you've got to be kidding. These girls buy this. Look at this big thing. I was like, okay. And this has cost me $10. And so I started using it. And so I put it, how I do it is I put it on my cotton round. I do my face. I put a little bit more on and then I go for the pits. And I have
Yeah.
no odor at
Really?
all. Yep. As long as I do it every day, I am telling you. And so I told my oldest, and she was visiting. It was months ago, and she was visiting in LA. And then she's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. They never want to think you're right because you're their mom, right?
Of
Or their
course.
dad or whatever. They never want to think you're right. So she was like, yeah, 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 whatever. And then I get a call one day, and she's like, oh my God, that stuff is amazing. And she doesn't use a cotton round. She puts it straight into her hands because she's more earth friendly than I am, apparently. And she's like, I just splash it everywhere and it's the best thing on earth. So definitely give it a shot. Definitely detox off that deodorant and get on something natural.
I think it's one of those things where people are afraid to take the jump. If you haven't done it, you're afraid to take the jump. I'll be honest with you.
Well, because you're
I'm
gonna
afraid to take
stink.
the Yeah, that it's a major the gamble. You know what I mean? Like you don't want the reputation. Hey, guess what? I ran into Dave and boy, remember he used to smell kind of good. Now he doesn't smell so good. Like it's a big gamble. I haven't made the jump. My sister did though. She did it. She made the jump. And I was like, man, that's kind of an all-in deal. One of my favorite things is when I hug somebody and they tell me how good I smell. So I'm like, I don't want to give that up. It's one of the few things I have.
What do you think that you smell good because of your deodorant?
I know I don't smell bad. But yeah, Nicole, I'm your worst
No.
nightmare. I'm the guy that counts 10 strokes on each armpit. You know what I mean? And I know it says the number one ingredient's aluminum, but I'm
You're
I'm
gonna
so
die. You're
afraid to
gonna
make the
die on
jump.
us.
Yeah, I'll probably end up with Alzheimer's first. But yeah, you're probably
Or
right.
your dad jokes are gonna kill us first. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you today. Your text
Okay.
messages are equivalent to dad jokes. Okay.
Yes.
You cannot text me back cool. Period. And nothing else.
Sure,
You
sure.
cannot text me
I'm not
back.
long-winded.
Okay. Just give me a thumbs up on the just like the comment or something. But
Okay.
oh my God, it's hysterical when you write back. Somebody will write a whole thing and then you write back, cool. And in fact, to prove it to everybody, like it got this bad. It got this bad. He did that. Who
There
does
you
that?
go.
Who
This guy.
who does that? Stop it. cooler than that.
I'm not. I'm obviously not better than that. That's
Well,
it.
we're gonna make you cooler than that. Stop.
Okay, you got to help me. You got to help me.
Okay,
Absolutely,
yeah.
I'm trying.
Stop texting me back. Cool. Stop texting me back. Okay. Just give me
Okay,
just like the comment or
you
whatever,
got it.
and then
I'll work on it. I'll work on it.
I'm
I'll
kidding.
work on it.
I'm
There's a
you
better
know
chance of me fixing that than the deodorant part. I'll tell you, it's a
no,
big
you
gamble.
be you. You be you, boo. You be you. So we have an amazing guest today who I'm super excited about because I love strong, powerful women and business savvy women, and they are just such an inspiration. So let's not wait anymore. Let's bring her on. Lor-e.
Hi, guys.
Lor-e. Hi. Okay, I'm
Hey,
gonna give
Lori.
everybody a little bit of a background. Lor-e is like everything in fashion. She works with Will I Am, along with a lot of other people. So if you don't know, you should know. You should go look at her website. So tell us like how you got involved and like where you come from and how it all started, and like give us your goods.
Wow. Okay. Well, I was born in a small town called Chanute in Kansas. And no, I'm just kidding. I won't go that far
Oh,
back.
you're kidding? Are you kidding? Or are you for real?
No, no, that's serious. But basically, wow, this is how our story connects. When I was a kid in a small town in Kansas, actually, I grew up just watching movies. There wasn't much to do. My dad was a big oil businessman, and I had two older brothers that were like way older than me, so like they were best friends, and then I was just kind of like by myself or with my mom. And I decided that I was in love with Corey Haim, and my goal was to leave Kansas, go to LA, meet and marry him.
Oh, how did
Literally,
that work out? You know
I
what? Your life worked out better.
him, it worked out good, but we didn't get married, obviously. And yeah, so that's what brought me to LA.
How
And
did you meet him? Wait. Let's back this up
Yeah.
just a second. I need to hear the details of this. So you arrive in LA, like, and then how much later did you meet him? Where was it? How did you go about it? Tell me all that.
oh my gosh. Okay. So I was literally like a teenager, and I feel like you went to the club back in the day, Bar One.
Of
Do you remember
course.
Bar One?
Yes.
Yes. So somebody told me that he was going to be at Bar One. And we were
Okay.
like not even close to like 21 or drinking age, but back then
Nobody
they
cared.
just let whoever in, right? And so I show up there and I'm looking for him every week, months and months and months, right? Corey Feldman's there, and I'm like, where's Corey Haim? Is Corey Haim with you? What's going on? And then eventually, we got invited back to Corey Feldman's after party, and there was Corey Haim. And I thought I was just gonna like die. And there's a lot of people partying. He wasn't really paying attention to me. I was a little heavier back in the day, and in the 90s, it wasn't accepted. And I was like, I got to get his attention. I got to get him to like, I'm so nervous. I don't know what to do. And I was standing by the pool and they were all swimming. And he turns to everybody and goes, does anybody have a cigarette? I need a cigarette. And I was like, oh, I do. So I fumbled, I pulled one out, and I looked, and everybody's in their bathing suits and everything in the pool, right? I'm fully dressed in my club outfit, and I just start going into the pool with a cigarette. Here you go. And he was like, oh my God, I'm going to call you the cigarette lady now. And yeah, that was my first moment with him. A little odd.
Did anything progress from there? Like what happened?
Not that night. But
Okay.
eventually we like ran into each other again and started talking to each other, became friends. He came out to Arizona when I moved back to Arizona for a minute, and stayed there for a while. And he was just amazing. I mean, I don't have to tell you, you knew him. Just a really, really cool, fun dude.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
yeah.
I love that story. That's so cute. That is so cute. So, okay. So, but then you're in LA, right? So you're in
Yeah.
LA and you've got all this talent and you're like, I'm going to do something with it,
Not
right?
really.
Like,
It's really just like, I gotta find Corey Haim. Like, that was my only I was a crazy person. I was like
It's
this
a life
that
goal.
was it.
out here by myself. I didn't know what was going on. But I knew that bar one was fun. And I knew that I was meeting all kinds of people there. It's where I met Will I Am in the very beginning. And that was
At
back
bar
in
one?
yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that's where they were doing like their dance battles and all that, early 90s, and that's how we met. And then I met like so many other friends that are literally still my friends today. But when I met Will, he was going to FINM at the time for fashion, and he was also doing music. And then he got signed, and he was like, "Well, I want to do the music, and you do the fashion, and we'll become a team." So it kind of all was by accident because I was looking for Corey Haim. But I mean, that's the truth. So, but yeah, my mom taught me to like sew and stuff when I was like young. And, I've always been creative, but the way that it happened was kind of more fateful than,
Organic. Right, yeah.
yeah, organic. And then, that's what I'm going to go do. And here, that's my goal. So,
Pretty
yeah.
So,
amazing.
okay. So you and Will I Am, who's not famous at this point, you guys say like, we're gonna do this thing. And he's like, I'm gonna make music, you're gonna do fashion. And like, tell me what the thought process in your mind was, is like, okay, like, is there a look? Like, how do I go about it? Like, what do we do next? Like, what are those next steps? I'm like,
Well, like for years we just hung out at bar one and after bar one. Like he would come over to my apartment and like we'd go through my closet because I would wear men's thrift clothes because I was bigger and like women's stuff that was on the rack didn't really fit me. So I would go to the thrift store and get like menswear, like back then it was like big baggy flannels, stuff like that. So we kind of like dressed the same basically. And that's how it started. And then when he got signed to Interscope, in the early 2000s, right before 9/11, then that's when he's like, you do the fashion part and this is what we should do. And then it was kind of like a collaboration of like, oh, I should wear this. And I'm like, oh yeah. And then we should do this with it. And that's kind of how it started. And I just had my little sewing machine, was sewing stuff up and going to the thrift
Wow.
store, getting stuff, changing it, adding stuff to it. Yeah.
I love
And then
that
it
so
just
much.
went on and on and on and on.
See,
Lori,
I love that so much.
Lori, did you always have a passion? You know what I mean? To say your eye just went right to it, like you noticed it in other people, and it's like art. I always say it's
Yeah.
like art.
Yeah, I did. And I always like when I was little, growing up, I wanted to be Cyndi Lauper. I wanted to shave the side of my head and dye it orange. My dad was like, no way in hell you're doing that until you're 18. I wanted to be Madonna. I would literally dress up like Madonna. And I remember one time my mom was like, I was probably like 10. And she was like, I'm going to go to the store. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to come with you. And let me just put on my clothes and fix my makeup, right? Because I was like, had all this makeup on my face, 10 years old, being like Madonna. I was literally dressed like a virgin, like crazy, like a bra, tank top, fishnet over it. And she's
All
like,
the bracelets.
yes. And my mom was like, I'll be in the car. And I'm like, okay. And then I ran out to the driveway. I'm like, where's mom? What?
Ooh.
She left me. And then she comes back and she goes, I can't take you to the store looking like that. What would people think? So yeah, I always had creative in me, whether it was accepted or not.
I mean, but Cyndi Lauper and Madonna were like it. It changed everything for us girls, didn't it?
Literally.
It was like that moment of like, oh, you thought I couldn't? I am.
Oh,
Let me pull my shoulder down. Let me show my bra strap,
yeah.
let me do all of that. Yeah, it really kind
Girls
of
just
was a
wanna have
changing
fun.
moment
Yep.
for women. Yeah,
Yeah.
super
So
dope. So then, so all of a sudden, Will I Am blows up and you're like sewing away, and then
yeah,
obviously you're not sewing anymore.
it's a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sewing in my little office all night long, like so many nights in a row. And um, there's one point where there was like a different video shoot or a different, interview or award show every single day.
Yeah.
And it was all 4 members, and it was just like a madhouse. Like I never slept for like, I don't know, 10 years.
Oh my
Like I
Yeah.
would
gosh.
sleep like 2 hours a night and then like start sewing and get ready to go to set the next day. But it was such a fun time. Such a fun time.
So where are you guys at now? Like how is it now?
He's very much in the tech space, but as far as like design and stuff, there's a big studio where he has everything. There's like a cut and sew, pattern makers, seamstresses, place to do his videos, all that stuff. So, he definitely grown into the vision that he saw,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like that. And yeah,
And what
def-
are you doing? Like what's your day to day?
my day to day most recently is I've been doing a lot of set design and production design with
Oh,
Jaden
fun.
Smith.
Oh, I
And
love that.
yeah, it started like in the pandemic when nobody could go to work and we all had to sit on our couches for months. And then they told us we could go outside. So I got a phone call that was like, "Hey, do you want to like go build like flower fields on a hill outside with me?" I was like, "Oh yeah, let's go." And it was just so incredibly fun. Like, I don't want to stop doing that right now.
That is so fun. Set design is something I always look at set designers and I'm like, you guys have such a fun job. I know it's a hard job and I'm not taking anything away from that, but it is definitely like fun because you're in and out when production is not there necessarily, right? Like you don't have to deal with production. You just like stand by, but you get to create and you get to be so you get to do all the creative stuff that like
Yeah.
people just show up on set and they're like, oh, this set just happened to be there. No, people really put some time and energy into this. So
Yeah, no one really thinks about that. It's like, and the same with like wardrobe and styling. It's like, oh, snap your finger and there's like 10 racks of clothes here. It's like, no, it's going to like so many stores. It's like opening and closing a store on set every day. You got to set it all up, make it look all pretty, so that, they could come shop in it for the video or whatever. And yeah, it's crazy.
100%.
It's a fun world, but yeah.
I'm curious to know, what did your parents think when you made it? I mean, you're in the industry.
Um, Well, my dad was always kind of a hater, I guess, growing up. He was like, "You need to get a real job. You need to be an attorney. You need to be in real estate. You need to do something real." Because he, was in oil in Kansas in the 70s and 80s, and he was doing really, really well. So he thought that was the only way to go because, he grew up there. He was born there. It was his way of thinking, very focused on what he thought was the real world and real life. Um, but then eventually he was like, he'd be, out with people and be like, "Huh, that song they play at basketball games? Let's get it started." Yeah. Mhm. That's my kid. That's my kid. She works with them. And I'm like, okay, so I did good. It worked. So yeah, he
You
was
believe me now? You
extremely
believe me
proud.
now? Yeah.
But yeah, my mom passed away in like 95, but she's very proud too.
I'm
I can speak.
sorry, but good. I'm glad she was proud of you. Yeah, I've lost both of my parents too. But it's weird how we just do kind of look for our parents like recognition, right? Like we want to
Yeah,
be validated by our parents.
right. Right.
But
So true. And it was always
yeah,
that like push and pull growing up for me, like, well, I don't want to do that. And my mom was like, "You do anything you want. If it makes you happy, we'll be happy." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna go find Corey Haim." I'm moving to LA then. Bye guys.
I love that. And your dad, the oil tycoon who's like pure business guy going like, what the hell are you doing?
Oh
Get
my god,
home.
for
Like,
real.
this is amazing.
And what's really funny is the way that it actually unfolded was in high school. I made a bad decision of getting in a car with a drunk driver, and we got in an accident, and I broke both of my legs, crushed my ribs, my pelvis. The doctor told me, you're never going to walk again. And I was like, no, I have to walk. I have a mission. I'm moving to LA. I'm doing all this stuff. And, but long story short, I got a settlement, so I could financially move to LA on my own without my dad's approval. So,
And
There
you
you
were
go.
like, these legs are gonna work. I
yeah,
have
once
Corey
I could walk
Haim. I have Corey Haim to find. These legs are gonna work. I got cash in my pocket. Let's go.
literally, yeah, as soon as I could walk again, that's what I did. But
That's crazy.
yeah, I feel like everything happens for a reason, because if I hadn't gotten in the accident, how would I be in LA? You know?
I
Yeah, your
bet.
dad wasn't gonna support you. He wasn't gonna let you chase your dream.
Oh no. He was
No.
like, I'll let you go to real estate school. I'll pay for that, uh, be an attorney like your brother. My brother's like a super successful attorney. And yeah, I'm like, no, it's not what I
No.
want to do.
Any regrets?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, never.
I mean, I think I would make a good attorney too, like Elle Woods, but I like my life.
Yeah, I just, our industry is so like up and down, obviously. And as
Yeah,
everybody knows, like the whole world is on strike right now because of
right.
because of these studios. So like work comes to a complete halt and businesses come to a complete halt. And it doesn't just affect the obviously the TV and movie industry, it affects everything around it and near it. So it's the easier, sometimes I feel like it should have been the more stable, easier route to have been the attorney or
Yeah,
to like work under your dad, right? Like sometimes there's got to be that thought where you're like, I coulda, shoulda, but then nah, you're
yeah,
working because you're loving what you're doing.
yeah. Even with everything being stopped right now, I still have no regrets. I'm taking time to, focus on things that I've always wanted to do. Like creating TV shows and films. And I'm actually pulling from my real life, using all my crazy stories. So, hopefully that's, I
Oh,
don't
I
know.
love that for you. Oh, I love this for you.
Well, we
I
wait
love
for
this for
Hollywood to
you.
open back up again.
This is like Beverly Hillbillies, like or not Beverly Hillbillies because your dad was already, or it's like what was that show? Dallas, where
Yes,
yeah,
Dallas.
right. It's
Yes,
like that where you're like these tycoons, and then you're the one that's like, I'm going to LA. I'm gonna go find
literally. Yep.
Mr. Haim.
Yeah, my dad once, like in the 70s, he had his own private helicopter and he would park it on our roof. Now, Chanute was a town of like 3,000 people, really small, Midwest, just like fields with cows and just oil, and that's about it, right? And he would park his helicopter on the roof, and at Halloween, he would put Michael Myers inside just, just to annoy the neighbors. And yeah,
Wait,
anyway, we're
why
going
did
to
he park it on
story.
the roof when there was all this land?
Just to be a badass, I guess, because that's
Okay,
what he
yeah.
was. He wanted
Okay,
everyone to know that's who he was.
fair
So,
enough.
I feel like that's kind of Dallas-y. But in sometime in the 70s, he flew over the Super Bowl and he dropped like 1,000 or a couple thousand, or I don't know, maybe 100,000, I don't know how many business cards. And he got a littering ticket because you
Oh,
could
wow.
fly over back then, but
Yeah.
he made millions in his
Business.
industry. So that's kind of how my brother actually said we became the Beverly Hillbillies overnight. And yeah,
Oh my God, I
Wow.
love this so much. I
I don't
love this
remember the
so much.
question, but I don't know why I told that story, but
Do, do you
It's a good
remember which
story.
Super Bowl it was? Now I'm curious.
it was sometime in the 70s. I gotta ask my brother. He would remember because he's like way older than me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's
it was crazy.
that's that
So
is
good.
that's a crazy story. That's
Yeah,
wild.
that
Well,
was that.
yeah. See, Nicole, you always hear stories like this of people that come from nowhere and their dream is to go to Hollywood. And then you go, well, how many actually succeed? So you go out to LA on your dime. And when's the first time you go back home to visit family, friends after you've kind of made it in the industry?
Well, I went back and forth a few times, and at that time, I mean, I still don't think I've made it. I have a long way to go and a lot of things to do on my list. Um, but it was definitely different going back like in the mid 2000s once Black Eyed Peas was like everywhere. You know what I mean? Everyone was like, "Oh my God, you work with Black Eyed Peas? You're so cool!" And like, it was an interesting time because before they were just like, "Oh, whatever," to me. But it goes to show, like,
Yes.
But you are
yeah,
so
people
cool. I
care.
was looking at all the videos you also style, like, because you do a lot of Jaden Smith stuff,
I do.
and help me out here. You do a lot. Go ahead and brag, because
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, we I do, wardrobe styling, and set
because
design and
Jaden
stuff with
is
him
like
too.
Jaden is a special character. Like,
Oh, he's
not just anybody
amazing.
gets to style him. Like, so
Oh,
I give you like all the props in the world, because not like he is so inventive and so, like, before the trend, and he's just his own
he really
entity.
is.
So, right?
He really is, and so is Will. They're, like, so similar. Will.i.am, him Jaden and
Yeah.
Will.i.am are so the same. It's like watching, a 25-year-old Will. Like, their mind works the same. They're, like, geniuses. They think of things other people don't think of, and then you're just like, "Oh, wow. Yes, that's so true." Like, I never thought that way. Like, it's crazy. They're
Is that a
incredible.
lot of pressure? Like, okay, so like if you're gonna show up on Jaden's like video shoot, because I know you style his videos. So like if you show up, are you like prepping for that? Is that just like so much pressure? Or are you like, I'm on this level, I got him, I get
It
it? Like, how does that work? Because I would be peeing my pants.
No, not at all. Literally, I will say that, like, with Jaden, there's no pressure because he's so chill and so sweet and so awesome. Like, you don't feel nervous, because you know that, like, if you do something wrong, he's not going to yell at you. He's not going to be mad. He's going to be like, "Oh, that's okay. Well, let's do it. Do we have this? Um, so that takes away the pressure. And some
Yeah.
people you work with them, you're just like nervous, staying up all night, and you're like, oh my God. And they're calling you all through the night, and you're just so stressed out by the time you get to set, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to do something wrong. And then I'm going to get yelled at, like, so I think it has to do with who you're working with and their
Sure.
attitude and their appreciation and their,
What
you know,
about Zendaya? Is she is equally cool, or is she harder to work with, or what's her deal?
I met her once and we did a dress for her for a CoverGirl commercial with La Roche.
Uh-huh.
And, I met her only briefly, but she was super sweet, super sweet.
She seems
Yeah,
super sweet. Yeah.
and,
Love her.
yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Well, I just like I'm just so envious of your creative mind, because like I would be dying. I'd be pooping in my pants going like, how would I tell these people what to wear? They're the coolest people on earth. How do I tell them what to wear? They're going to laugh at me. That's where my headspace would be. So I
Oh,
hand it to you.
oh, I appreciate that, thank you.
No,
Yeah,
it's such a talent.
just with everything, I think everyone needs to kinda just relax, and whatever happens, happens, and just do your best, and as long as you're doing your best and you mean well, I think that that's really all that matters. If someone yells at you, so what? You
Yeah.
know? Like, it's not you, they're just in a bad mood, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of
No,
the attitude
intention
you
is
have to get over.
everything, right? Like your intention is everything. It's all your karma in your life is your intention. My
Yeah,
belief. But yeah.
same. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming and visiting with us and sharing your story. And like, I love a badass lady. And, people don't really understand that it's harder for a woman to come up in this world. Like, everybody thinks it's all the same. It's not. I've been listening to a lot of young women that think that like um it's equal. It's not. We're still fighting for it. And it's women like you that are making the mark and blazing those trails, and we're getting there.
Oh my
And
gosh, thank you.
so
I feel
you're
the same way
appreciated.
about you. I mean, gosh, like, look at you and your career. Incredible.
listen,
Like,
we're all just like going on our path, right? But
yeah.
yeah, it's really great when you see women in business like doing big moves. So we appreciate you. I just want you to know.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you,
Thank
Lori.
you. Thank you.
Talk to you later. I'll
That
call you after. Okay.
that was cool. When I asked her about her passion, because there's so many people I meet, and I'm sure you do the same thing, where you're around a lot of young people as well because you have young daughters and you're looking at their friends, and you go, what is the thing about you that drives you? What is your passion? And I'm always amazed when I run into people, Nicole, that's our age, and they can't tell you what their passion is. What is the
Oh,
one
like
thing
me?
that keeps them? Well,
You're talking
I
to
think
one.
you, I think, be honest with, no, I don't know. I think for you, you know what, your passion was found for you at such a young age. I mean, I know you have other interests outside of the entertainment world, but you loved it from day one. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done it from 5 years old to now. And I've run into people all the time. We say, if you could do anything, what would you do? And they don't have an answer. And they've been on this planet for 50 years. And,
Yeah.
oh, I used to love to dance. Well, could you have been a professional dancer? No. I wish I would have gone into medicine, but they didn't do that either. And then they can't really tell you what is their one thing that drives them every single day.
I know. I always find it truly amazing and a calling when you meet someone. I just met a young doctor the other day. He knew right away from like being 6 years old or something that that's what he was going to do. And I think Lori the same. She knew right out of like junior high school or something like that that she knew what her like mission was and what she was going to do and like what her goal was and like where her thing was. I personally, I'm still trying to find it. I'm one of those people you're talking about. I'm still at 51 like what is it? What is it? What is it that I love besides my kids? Um so yes, that's so admirable when people just know.
Yes.
And you always want that kid too, like as a parent. You're like you want your kid to be that kid that knows what they want to do because otherwise you're spending all this money and sending them to college or doing all these things and they don't know what they want to do. And of course you want them to be happy, but it must be truly amazing when kid knows what they want to do and who they want to be and like what drives them. I think that that's so rad.
And I think as a parent, you can't sit there and it's not your life, it's their life. Like obviously Lori's dad and my dad wasn't, it was just like Lori's dad. My career path, I made him nervous. He did not like the fact that I went into entertainment. He'd rather had done something where I was a 9 to 5 guy, worked 50 years and got a gold watch when I retired, that kind of deal, just to know I was going to be okay. He hated the fact that I went into radio and TV. And it was one of those, he never figured it out till the day he passed, that if he would have just supported it. But it's not just that, but I watch people who try and push their kid into sports or into music at a young age, and the kid has zero passion, and so the key word is what drives your kid, and do whatever you can as a parent to basically help them down that path. It's you've already lived your life.
It's funny that you say that because my dad was successful, like we had everything we wanted and everything was there for us. And I would say, so I'm gonna be 16, like I want a car. And he's like, so you have 2 legs, you have 2 arms, go get a car. Go earn your money and go get a car. And I was like, wait, what? And granted, I was working, and granted, I did have the money, but I was 15 years old, and I was like, okay. So I went and did that. I did exactly what he said, but it could have been handed to me. And my dad raised me a lot like a boy, so it's different. But I think girls, they just get raised by a little bit of a different standard. So you're pacified a little bit more. You're taken care of a little bit more, especially by a successful dad. And then you get kind of lost. You can get a little bit lost like later. And that's the truth. So when I see a woman that is just like driven and she just knows what she wants and she goes and she gets it, I can connect with that so deeply and I love it so much. So
You said something interesting as far as you were raised like a boy. Now,
yeah.
again, I know it was different when you and I were being raised to now, and how you raise your daughters. But how do you mean that in a way? Like in a toughness way, or how are girls raised when you are looking at your friends?
Oh, my girlfriends, they all had everything just handed to them.
Okay.
Everything was handed to them. They got like a car with a bow on it, and they were just spoiled, I guess. But I grew up in like a privileged neighborhood, and privileged lifestyle. But my dad, didn't come from that. Neither of my parents came from that. So they felt like you had to work for anything you earned. So that
Who's
was my
teaching you to
dad's like,
who's teaching you
huh?
to be independent? He was teaching you to be independent, not have to rely on other people.
100%. 100%, which in those days, it's like to be a man, not to be a woman. You're
Yes.
talking about the 70s.
Yeah.
So, he would raise me to, and, it's so funny when he died, not to be morbid, but when he died and he was making his will, he looked at me literally and said, "I'm not leaving you anything because you're the only one I know can take care of everything." And he
Wow.
said, "The other women, they all need stuff. You don't need anything." I was like, "Oh, I'm sick of being the strong one. When does this end?" I don't want to be the
Yeah.
strong one anymore. But it was the truth, and that's how he viewed it, and that's what I mean by that. So I was the only female that didn't get left anything from him in his will, and it was strictly because he said he knew I didn't need it.
You know what? If I had a daughter, I would have raised my daughter the same way your dad did it. I'll be honest with you. I would want them to be independent and have faith in themselves and believe in themselves to be able to accomplish anything they wanted. I wouldn't want them to have the attitude you have to rely on other people for your happiness.
For
I
sure.
would have done it the same way.
For
You
sure, but you
know.
should leave him something when you die.
Oh, I 100% would have left them everything, but that's not.
Yeah, nothing.
It's funny. So I'll give an example. Like, you have a younger daughter who, in a few years is going to be in high school. And so,
Yeah.
like cheerleading is a big thing. Always was a big thing. It's in the movies, everything else, the cheerleader, everything else. And I always think to myself, would I let my daughter be a cheerleader? And the reason I say that is, one is if it was the gymnastics cheering like you see on TV and they're doing the hard competitions and it's a lot of work and a lot of athletic ability to do it, I'm all for it. But if it's just to stand on the sideline on a Friday night football game, I would have been against it because I'm like, you are not going to cheer on someone else's accomplishments. You're going to
Okay,
achieve
so
your own
you're
accomplishment.
for competitive cheer, but you're against field cheer. That's
I
what I'm
am.
getting from you.
I am.
Okay. My daughter is a cheerleader, so I don't know if you're
Okay.
taking a dig at me.
No, I had no
Let's
idea. Now you got to
go.
help.
Let's
You got to
go.
help. You got to help me out. You got to help educate me.
Um, Keegan is a cheerleader. She's a badass cheerleader. She's a flyer. She does all the tumbling, and that's what she loves. She feels like everything else about it is corny. And I really thought I was gonna kill myself when she said, I wanna try out." And I was like, "What? Who are you? Like, who raised you? What house did you grow up in? Like, where is this coming from?" Even my oldest was like, "What? Whose child is she?" And, but I get it now. I get it because she loves, flipping. She loves doing acrobatics. So, that's her jam. That's her thing. She can flip and tumble like nobody's business, and she's tiny, so they throw her up in the air and she does all these tricks, and they win. So I became a cheer mom.
There you go. There you go.
I never thought in my entire life I would be, but I am, and I'm all for it. And no, they're athletes.
They are.
100% they're athletes. Even the girls that do to be honest, even the girls that do field cheer, it does take like coordination. It does take like um it's cardio. Like it is still work. Like it's just still a lot. And you need the bigger girls to catch the smaller girls, and it's just it takes a plethora
You
of
said that.
people.
If
I
I would
did.
have said that, that sounds terrible.
I didn't
You
mean
need the
bigger
bigger
as
girls.
in like I didn't mean I meant like taller. Taller,
Okay.
stronger. Like mine is
Stronger.
my height. She's 5 feet tall. There's other girls that are like 5'6". We're not my 5-foot girl's not catching a girl that's 5'6". That girl's gonna fall on the floor. Um, so it all works out, if you know what I mean. I just
I got you.
Yeah, and it's fun. Honestly, it's fun. The choreography is cool, the music is cool. It's a whole world. It's a whole world I entered, and I have an appreciation for. So I think we're going back this year.
Okay, good. Well, again, if she has a passion for it, going right back to
She
what we
does.
said. I have two family members that are emergency room doctors, and they say the number one sport that on a Friday night that you'll see in the emergency room, it's not
Fuck,
football
don't.
players, it's cheerleaders. Cheerleaders get hurt the most. Yeah, I mean, so as you said, it is a
Great.
sport, you know?
No, it is. I mean,
Yeah,
it truly, truly is. And when they drop her, like I want to kill them. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm ready to
yeah,
go out there and like kill those girls because they sometimes they drop them on purpose because they just not on purpose, but just because they don't want to catch them because that their landing doesn't look good, so they don't want to grab it and they let them fall. It's
no way.
crazy. But I think in either position, if you're a catcher or a flyer, you're in trouble. You're either getting kicked in the face or you're falling on the floor. So it's a tough sport either way.
Oh my
It's
gosh, it is.
facts.
All right, we're gonna move into what you're watching, okay? Because
Yes.
I'm watching. I'm
Okay.
trying to watch what you're watching. So I want to
Okay.
start.
Okay.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Um,
Okay.
Gabby Winley from the episode I did of The Bachelor.
Okay.
She came out today with her female partner.
Mm.
And Gabby was like everybody's favorite. And I always thought like, oh, she's too good for him. She's too good for him. She was so like sensible all the time and her communication skills were always like on point. She was always very poised. She was just amazing. She's on the lady side.
There you go.
Yep. And then did we see did you watch Roni?
I did.
Okay,
I'm
what'd you think?
watching every. Okay. So I do like the new cast. Like to me, there's potential there that there could be some really good stuff in this show. I think a lot of the women are holding back. They don't know how to do the balancing act of the entertainment part, the conversations to make it interesting. They're having a hard time finding their feet right now. But I like the personalities of the people on the show. I do like the new cast.
Did you look at sideways when she brought all of those clothes to the Hamptons, like in the middle of the winter? And then
Yeah,
when you saw her outfits that she was wearing, were you not like, what are you wearing? What's going on? I know you don't. I bet you didn't.
I didn't.
I
I
bet you didn't
noticed
'cause
all
you
the
didn't pay attention.
suitcases when she packed it up. I didn't. I don't. I'm always looking at faces and
Well,
body parts, but
she had
from
tons
the
of
guy's view.
wardrobe bags. And then she was wearing see here's the thing that drives me nuts in fashion, okay? So like when actresses who are generally much tinier and smaller than models or reality stars, right? So when
Mhm.
they go on a show, they're not styled properly. It's just a fact. So like I'm going to use Alyssa Milano. Don't hate me, Alyssa. But this is truth. Like when she hosted uh the the Bravo show about the with the designers, right? And every
Yeah.
time she came out, she was wearing something off the rack and it was like it was wearing her and she wasn't wearing it. It was not it didn't fit. And I see the same thing happening on Love Island. I love the actress from Modern Family. I love her to death. She's adorable. She's also tiny and the outfits are just wearing them and it's just nobody's tailoring it because I guess they have to send it back.
Oh,
So, like, it's just, and you're looking at me with this blank face.
no, it's not. I know what you're saying because going back to even when Lori was doing Black Eyed Peas back in the mid 2000s, everyone was wearing oversized stuff for men at least. They weren't. Everyone looked like a box. No one wore a tailored
Sure.
shirt. And then I always joke around that how the look for guys is all these shirts are untucked. It was the greatest thing to ever happen to
Uh-huh.
a guy because all these guys who have guts, it hid their stomach. You tuck a shirt into
Does it?
jeans, and these guys look terrible. And so it was that untuck it look to me is almost the greatest move men ever created as an excuse to not be in shape. And then when you look at now and you're saying the clothes are a little bit tighter, form fitting, for people that actually care about themselves, and you want to look at other people that care about themselves, you kind of want to see more form fitting. You want to know what's under the clothes.
Well, not only that, I just don't want the clothes to be wearing you. So Sai is an influencer. That's her job. That's what she does. She brought bags and bags, wardrobe bags for days. And then she was wearing like sweater dresses that were just wearing her. So I was a little disappointed in that because I expect a little bit more. And you know, that's it. And do we like Erin? Because I keep going back and forth on Erin.
I'm not
And I
sure
like
who.
her voice. She should be on our show. We need her on our show. She should have her own radio show because she's got the greatest voice ever. But
Yeah,
do we like her?
I'm not sure who I like on this show yet. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I haven't moved towards everyone. All I know is Bryn, just from looking at what's happening in her personality, it looks like she will hit on and sleep with anybody to get
Oh, for
attention.
sure. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, she reminds me of that young girl from that Southern Charm. I said this last week. That Southern Charm spinoff, Southern Hospitality, and she is that girl 30 years later who just never grew up, is continually just trying to like land a guy, and it's kind of sad. But I
it's,
digress.
it's always funny
Did
when
you
you end it
watch
with kind of
Atlanta?
sad. And so I didn't watch Atlanta. The ones I'm on are Real Housewives of New York and Real Housewives of Orange County.
Okay, well, can we talk about Serena Williams is having a little girl?
Good.
She let that news out today, and it was so cute. Her hubby was like so happy in the video, which I find like so heartwarming when a guy is like so genuinely like invested and happy
Yeah.
and all of that. It just gives you all the feels. I thought it was amazing. So okay, you're not watching Atlanta. But you know, okay, we'll leave it alone then.
Okay.
OC,
Well,
did you watch OC?
yes, I've been watching OC the whole way through.
Okay, so
And
do you think Emily is on Ozempic?
yes, actually, she is. Now it's funny about Ozempic because didn't know anything about Ozempic until the Academy Awards when Jimmy Kimmel made a joke about it, and
It's
all of
still
a sudden
related.
everyone's talking about Ozempic. And how do you get on it? How do you talk your doctor into giving you Ozempic? You know, what do I need to tell my doctor I have to lead him to get me Ozempic? Because it sounds like it's an easy way to lose weight, and people going, I'm looking for a shortcut. A lot of people can't lose the weight.
Okay, well,
So
I'm not
all of a
giving
sudden,
anybody any ideas. I'm not giving
yeah.
anybody any ideas, but Ozempic was approved for weight loss. You can wear ankle weights under your jeans. You can put on ankle weights under your jeans or under your sweats and go get weighed at the doctor and be like, see, I need to lose 20 pounds. I'm thinking about it. I'm
Oh my
honestly
gosh.
thinking about it. Yes,
Everyone I know is talking about it. Everybody wants it. Why
I
wouldn't
kind
you?
of do. I kind of
Yeah.
want to try it just to
Yeah.
see.
Uh,
But I have
Yeah.
a friend that did it, and he was so sick, and
Did he?
he was so sick, and he had to get on a flight, and he was at my house, and he was like, "I just want to vomit everywhere," and I was like, "I don't know." Um, sorry, sorry to be you, but you're gonna be skinny when you get there. Um, okay, so what did you think about Tamra being? Uh, Personally, she has to go.
Yeah.
I wanted her
Really?
back. I thought I wanted her back. She's the biggest jerk. She's
She
such a
is.
fucking jerk. Like she
Yeah.
threw that napkin in that
Towel. Yeah.
Jen's face.
Napkin.
Like,
Yeah. Okay. So, and I
let's
tell
hear
you
it.
what, I give Jen so much credit for not reacting. I'm just telling you, as a guy,
She's so
if a
zen.
guy was in a confrontation like that, you got to throw a punch. I mean, there's going
Oh,
to be a
most
fist fight.
women too.
And I give Jen credit. And a friend of my neighbor pointed this out to me because we had the conversation about it. And she says she couldn't because it's her business.
Yeah, she's
And
zen.
yeah, it
She's
would
a
have ruined
yogi.
her business if she went across the table and beat the hell out of her.
But you can
And
tell from her face she's not going there. You can just tell she's
no,
like, "What's wrong with you? I'm fine where I am. What is wrong with you?"
yeah.
And do you think Tamara has a crush on the guy?
I think Tamara's one of those, and you would know as a woman, there's some women that just want to be wanted, and Tamara wants to be wanted by everybody.
Yeah.
Tamara wants the attention, and she wants to be wanted, even if she wouldn't make a move. She still wants the attention of being the person that people thirst after.
Yeah, how many times is she gonna tell that poor Jen that that boyfriend wanted to F her,
She
right?
loves that
That
story. It's the
she loves
greatest thing that
that
ever happened to
story, and
her.
she keeps repeating it, like, "Shut
Yep.
up. Shut
Yeah.
up."
And I like Jen. Jen's my favorite one on the show. I feel bad
Um,
for her.
yeah, no, I like her. I don't know if she's the best housewife, but I like her, and I
Yeah.
feel sorry for her. Heather Dubrow's behavior is pretty awful. I know that she held the production up. That's why it was released so late because she was fighting them. She didn't want it released. She was fighting and
Really?
fighting and fighting. Yes. So I'm finding it interesting because I'm like, what else? What worse happens? Something worse must happen. Like something more awful.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like something more awful must happen because she fought them. She was like in litigation with them to not release this season.
Oh, wow. The whole
And she
season.
does yeah, she wanted it held back. She wanted editing rights, which you're not gonna get,
That's
lady. You
ridiculous.
signed up
Come
for a
on.
reality
Yeah.
show.
That's not how it works. What's wrong with you?
You can
Yeah.
afford
And
lawyers.
as much as I dislike Tamra, I like Tamra on the show. I think that show needs Tamra.
I'm bored. I'm bored with her just getting drunk and fighting with everybody and just
Yeah.
like she's just bitter and mean. How about Gina? What do you think about Gina? Is Gina stuck on her ex?
Yes, she is. And if I was that
Yes,
other
she
guy,
is.
I'd be very upset. If I was her new boyfriend, I'd probably be breaking it off, going, "You aren't over the other guy. You're still in love with the other guy." And it's evident when he
And he
watches it
doesn't get
back.
it. He's not
No,
getting it.
no, he's not getting it at all.
Yeah,
But
and Heather was right. She was like, "Stop calling your boyfriend, your current boyfriend, about your ex-husband." She was right about that. And Heather was like, Gina was like, "What do you mean? That's what he's there for."
no,
That's what he's my sounding board. No, lady, he's not. He's supposed
no,
to be your man.
no guy wants to hear
So
about another guy that was previously in your life, let alone one you were married to. Nobody
right,
does.
right.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody wants to hear about it. I mean, a little bit, fine. We can bounce back and forth, but like this constant like crying and yeah, it's just a lot. So yes, okay, you've got to catch up on Atlanta.
Okay. All right, that's my next move. I'll catch up
It's
on
good.
Atlanta. You tell me what to watch, and I got it. I
It's
got.
so
I'm
good.
in all
Yep.
of it, so you got it. I'm in. I'm absolutely excited about it. All right, here
And
we go. We're
Barbie
gonna go.
movie. Did you see Barbie movie?
Oh
God,
yeah,
we
I wanted to
cannot
touch on
end
this.
this without talking about
Yes,
Barbie.
I wanted to touch on this
Huh?
because I actually saw it before you. I saw it before you. And you said, "Don't
Oh,
ruin it for me." Okay.
okay.
God, I have so many things about it, but I will.
Okay.
First of all, and I don't want to. I'm not going to say anything to ruin the movie. I thought the movie was well done. It was packed. You know, when I went to the theater, there were 4 theaters showing it. It was great to see all these women dressed in pink. I thought that was cool. Um, it was. I thought at first there were a couple jokes at the beginning that I thought it was going to be kind of a Barbie movie just for adults, like adult jokes, and then it didn't go that way. Fine. Um, but I thought the
Like the
movie was
beach,
well done. The beach
beach stuff.
thing and yeah, the beach thing, you know, and that was I mean, I laughed. I felt like an idiot. You ever laugh out loud at something and you're the only one that laughs? And
I
I
don't
laughed
care.
out loud in the theater and nobody laughed with me. But when, you know, when he's Ken's competing with the other guys on why he's the best Ken, and there was a joke at the beginning, and I started laughing, and not one person laughed in the theater. They kind of looked at me like, "Shut up, stop making noise back there." But I thought Margot Robbie was great. I thought the acting was
Amazing.
great, but there's an important message in there. I was really disappointed, and you know, try not to get political, that there are people who try to make this movie political. It's a goddamn movie. It's a fucking movie about a Barbie doll. I mean, what are we doing? But there was an important message in there that if I had a daughter and you talk about female empowerment, that I thought was really important, and the dialogue that went on, I thought it was really good and really well written in there in the, you know, the important scene. If you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was very well done.
I enjoyed it. I loved it. To play devil's advocate, I kind of felt like it was a little bit of like reverse sexism. So it's sort of like if everybody's going to be equal, like let's make it equal. So but that's looking too deep into it, right? Like this is
Yeah.
just a Barbie movie. This is about Barbie's world and how Ken like infiltrates it and changes it and she comes back and fixes it. Um so I mean if we want to go too deep, which I didn't want to and luckily we didn't, I feel like you shouldn't go either way with the sexism. My friend Sean, his daughter Soleil plays Sasha, the young girl
Oh wow.
who's America Ferrera's daughter in it. The girl who like is like, I hate you, Barbie. Get out of my face, Barbie. And she did such an amazing job. And I just was like so excited as a parent to like see my friend's kid doing such an
That's cool.
amazing job. Yeah, she's a great actress. She's been acting forever and ever since she was really little, and it's definitely her calling. Like it's what she's meant to do. She was so good. So if you've seen the movie, you know who I'm talking about. She rocked it. And so there was all kinds of exciting things, and the kids loved it. The kids didn't find it offensive. I keep reading on all these mommy sites like this is not appropriate for children under 13 or whatever. I was like, what world did they grow up in? Like, what does your house look like? mine's full of F-bombs and I don't know. I thought it was great. Yeah, I thought it was really cute. Margot Robbie is the best thing that's happened in the 2000s. Let's just put it out there. In the 2000s, like I'm so happy for her, from her being in the joke in the Harley Quinn, from her
Yep.
being Harley Quinn. That's how I first realized who she was, because Keegan was obsessed, to knowing everything that she's capable and everything she does. And I watch everything. I just watched that movie that she did. That's that like 3-hour movie with her and Brad Pitt. It's amazing. She's great. I don't know. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge advocate.
I am too.
Love her.
Wolf of Wall Street. She was great.
Wolf
Yep.
of Wall. Yes, she was great in that. Did you watch what I'm talking about? That movie. It was like 19. I forget what it's called. I'm so bad at this. I should not bring things up when I don't know what it's called. But it's the movie where it's about making movies out in the desert years ago.
No, I haven't seen this one. She was also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay, you have to see it. Is that it? Is that what I'm talking about? You have to see it. She's just like everything she touches. She's just like, I don't know. I like her. She's very cool.
I did too.
Very cool. I should play her mom. Margot Robbie, if you're listening, I could be your mom. I could be your mom.
I don't think so.
We
You
could do a
guys
great
too
thing
close in age.
together.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
No,
have an
I don't
older
think we're too
sister.
close in age. I could be her mom, 100%. I look like her mom. We could do this, but
I like the older sister, I think, better. But
I
I think
mean,
you're too young to be her mom.
I don't think so.
Isn't she
I think
in her
she's the same
30s?
age as my daughter.
No, she
They're the
isn't. I
same
think
age. They're
she's in her
25, 26 years
30s.
old. Yeah.
Is she really?
They're-
I don't know why I thought she was 32, 33. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. You know what? I didn't look, but she looks the same age as my daughter. Um,
That is funny.
I could be
That's
the
funny.
mom. Listen, this
There
is
you go.
movie land.
It's movie land is right. Anything goes. All right, let's get to your mailbag, okay? And we're gonna do this
Okay.
one's gonna be a getting to know Nicole mailbag, okay? Which I always find a little bit fascinating, getting to know you, for people that what's Nicole like. And I think this podcast opens things a lot about what you're really like. So Nicole's mailbag, it's right on the website. perfectlytwistedpod.com. That's how you find Nicole's mailbag right there. It's right at the top, and you can write your questions in. So here we go. I have 5 questions for you, Nicole. All right. First one is, what's the first car you owned, and how old were you when you got it?
The first car I owned. Well, I don't know. You probably have to ask my parents, because I'm pretty sure they purchased some cars. I'm pretty sure they purchased some cars in their family that were from my money. But for me, the first car I bought was a Volkswagen Cabriolet, all
What color?
white. I
White.
went to Glendale, and interestingly enough, I was only 15 years old. I could not drive at all, and I bought a stick shift.
Yeah.
I talked them into it, and they gave me the car, and I drove off the lot with it, and then called a friend and was like, "You have to come pick up this car. I don't even know how to I don't even know how to get it out of here." And I met the guy years later, and he goes, "You know what?" He's like, "You were crazy, because I only made $50. I only got a $50 commission off that deal, because you ran such a hard bargain." I was
Wow.
15. So,
Wow. Good for
yeah,
you.
whatever.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That was a popular car back then.
It
you know?
was. It was so stupid. It was like the worst. Honestly, it was the worst car on earth ever. Like nothing went right with that car. But yeah.
All right. What's your greatest fear while swimming in the ocean?
Sharks.
Sharks. Have you ever seen a shark though? Like, no joke. Have you ever seen a shark? I mean, you're in the ocean a lot. You probably still are.
Um, no, not like oh, I'm right here. The shark is right there. No. I'd lose my shit. No. No. When I was in the water for Baywatch, I would freak out all the time. And there was this guy who was water, like he was part of like the water team. And I relied on that guy. I was like, he said, "Don't worry. If a shark comes up, I'll punch it." And I was like, "You better. Like, we better like be okay, secure around here." So we were in Hawaii, and we were in the harbor, which is like the worst place because it's full of sharks. And Jeremy Jackson has me on the back of uh, a jet ski,
Yeah.
and they'll follow the noise of the jet ski.
Oh wow.
And they love that area because there's a lot of chum, there's a lot of stuff, there's just a lot to be had there. And he would like flip it so that I would go flying off shark infested areas, and he'd laugh and laugh and laugh and come circle, and I'd be panicking in the water, just like panicking, like, "Pick me up, motherfucker. Get back here, get back here." Like I wanted nothing but to get back onto that thing, which I knew he was gonna fling me right back off of. So sharks. Aren't we all scared of sharks?
I don't know. I was thinking jellyfish.
Like,
I mean,
nope.
I think there's a much better chance of running into
Whatever.
jellyfish.
Jellyfish?
I don't want to
No.
get stung.
I'm not scared of jellyfish. No.
All right, here
Not a
we go.
problem.
Question 3. Are you a person who likes to try new things?
Yes. All
Oh,
the
that's
time.
cool.
I want something new all the time. I'm bored easily. Yes. Please bring me something new daily. Dave, you probably already know. I'm like bored off my rocker 24/7. All I do is like think of things and ideas, and that's all I do is I think of something new to do.
Are
Yeah.
you the kind of person that tries like new foods and stuff that you haven't had
Yes.
before? Wow.
Yes.
Look at that. Good deal.
Yeah.
All right, not counting your kids being born, what was the best day of your life?
I hope it hasn't happened
Oh, that's cool.
yet.
It's a good way to look at it. It's a good way to look at it.
Right? Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think it's happened because nothing tops my kids being born, and I still hope for that like amazing day.
perfect. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Why is your best friend
What
your
about
best
you?
friend?
What's your best day?
Oh man,
Wait,
I
what?
have I'll answer the question. Why is my best day is not counting my kids being born or my son getting asked to play football at Alabama was a big one. But on a personal note, I was always a big Dodger fan, hence the LA hat I'm wearing and the 8 million that I own. I told Tommy Lasorda when I was like 22, 23 years old that I was a huge Dodger fan, and he was in the Padres were hosting the Dodgers. And he said, "What's your name?" And I told him my name. And he goes, "Tomorrow, I want you to show up at 2:00 in the afternoon. Bring your glove, bring your shoes. You're working out with the LA Dodgers." And he let me work out for 3 hours with the Dodgers, and it was awesome. It was cool as can be. I'm running around center field, and I'm catching balls that Mike Piazza's hitting, and I'm taking batting practice and everything else. And I did a full 3-hour workout with the Dodgers. And the cool thing about it was my son was only a year old, and Tommy Lasorda held him the entire time in the dugout while I was doing it. And they both actually
Oh,
shared the same September 22nd birthday. And it was really a crazy moment. Like, I can't believe I'm working out with the Dodgers. It was insane. It was insane. It was a
dope.
childhood dream.
That's dope
Yeah,
for you.
it
Yeah,
was for
that's
me.
dope
For
for you.
me, it was.
For me,
No, you'd be like, "What's all this running?
for
What are we
you,
doing here?"
dope. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, last question. We'll get out of here.
Can we go?
Why is your best friend your best friend?
Oh, well, my best friends are my best friends because they're my kids, and nobody gets our sense of humor like each other. Like that's it. Like we all can look at each other, and we all have the same weird, skewed humor on everything, and we are so comfortable there. But we're not comfortable, and we all three of us are the same. We're not comfortable around other people that way. It's just when it's the three of us, we all just have this sick sense
Yeah,
of humor that just flows, and we all are
love
comfortable
it.
with it. We don't have to worry, you know?
Love
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I was the same way with my boys. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right.
Yeah.
So that we knocked out this show, but there's always a bunch of things that Nicole will remind you to do as a listener, as a follower. We appreciate
Yes,
your
and
support.
let me bring up. So I started the Amazon. Page because Christy Taylor, who I appreciate you, she sent me this message about using lavender oil if you ever have a sunburn. So thank you, Christy, because I'm going to try that because that seems like it would work. But I have an Amazon shop, so it's Amazon shop underscore Nicole underscore Eggert. You can find it on my for now you can find it on my Facebook. It will be on this site eventually, but everything we talk about, it'll be on there. And so like I have the favorite products that I'm using now. I have a back to school, all the cool back to school stuff. So you don't have to search all over Amazon. All the stuff is right there. I have my plant section because I'm completely obsessed with plants and I buy them constantly. So you can find all of that and they're like in lists and I've put them all there right on my Amazon page and you can just purchase through there and let me know if there's anything you want me to find on Amazon for you and put it into a list. I can do that too. Because that's fun. It's like
That's
it's
cool.
shopping on Amazon but you're not buying anything. You're just putting it all into, and I do buy it. Listen, I do buy it all. But I will share with you what I have purchased and like the stuff that I love. Anything I don't love, I won't put on there. But yeah, check it out. It's super cool. And the ordinary glycolic acid is on there. What I talked about with the deodorant, it's there. So go check it out
Cool. There you
and
go.
follow it. Follow
That's
us,
it. Follow
rate
us,
us,
leave a comment, the whole deal.
leave a comment, tell us you hate us. We're all good with it.
It hurts my feelings. We have some big guests coming on in the next few weeks as well. We won't promote them right now, but definitely stay tuned for the future shows. Really excited about the month of August that we have set up. And so, again, Nicole, it's always a blast working with you and sharing your story. And you completely opened up at the beginning of the show. Takes a lot of guts to show the real side of you.
Yeah. Sorry for my crying. Naughty nose, guys. I just, yeah, it was a lot. And I hadn't talked about it out loud. So that's a thing.
Exactly.
But yes, everybody have a great week and we'll see you next week.